All right, good morning to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning also to those of you on the West Coast. I am your host, Brandon Choi, co creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And thanks so much for joining us today as we do have a terrific guest for you guys in lieu of the Small Press Expo that's going down this weekend in Maryland, not too far from DC. Now, some of you might be asking what exactly is the Small Press Expo. Well, XPX is a nonprofit created or was created in 1994 to promote artists and publishers who produce independent comics, providing a forum for artists, writers, publishers, and of comic art in its various forms to present to the public comic art which is not accessible to through, I should say, normal commercial channels. So with that, I want to get into today's guests. So give me one moment. As you can see here, uh, today's guest is a graphic novelist and illustrator from Estonia. Today's guest is the author of the graphic novel uh, Bet- Between Two Sounds, which tells the story of acclaimed Estonian composer Arvo Pärt. Based on years of research and close collaboration with his subject, the English iteration of the book was released in 2024, 6 years following its initial 2018 release. In the US, the book has received several recognitions and awards, whether it's the NPR Best Books of 2024, the gold medal for the 2024 Pub West Book Design Award, the gold medal for the 2025 IBPA Book Awards, and the gold medal for the 2025 Independent Publisher Book Awards. Not only that, today's guest is also recognized for the publication of his second full-length graphic novel known as Colorful Magi, which portrays the life and work of modernist Estonian painter Conrad Magi. It is my pleasure to welcome to the show special guest Joonas Sildre. Let me bring him on now. Joonas, how are you?
Fine, thank you. A bit
All
jet
right, all
lagged,
right.
but it's getting better.
That's good. That's good. Well, first off, as I said, good morning. Glad to have you on the show. Just prior to the start of the Small Press Expo, just to hit the ground running, can share with me just briefly how that path as a novelist and an illustrator commenced? Was there an epiphany of sorts that happened along your journey as you grew older, or was that something that you always envisioned for yourself, even at a young age?
Yeah, I guess it started in a young age. Me, as many my fellow kids, would draw a lot, and I was immediately attached to comics when I first saw it as a very young person. So I
Gotcha.
continued to search for more stories and started to do my own whatever comics children do. And I guess the change came with my teenage years when I found out about graphic novels and more artistic ways of telling stories in that format. For example, from Finnish comics, I've found many very good examples how to do things differently and for more adult audiences. So from that moment on, I was hooked to the graphic novel and very different way, artistic way of doing stories.
Gotcha. So, in getting into Between Two Worlds, congrats by the way on its success. Could you discuss briefly that dynamic of working with the subject of your work directly? As I know, a lot of times when you're doing that type of work, you don't always have that luxury of working directly with your subject. So can you share what that was like?
hmm Well, initially when I started the project and I had the idea. I had no intention of connecting with the subject, with Arvo Pärt. It happened kind of organically through the way. Basically, one day I just received a phone call from the wife of Arvo Pärt, and she had heard that I'm planning to do this book. I had got a grant to go this artist residency in Paris, and she invited me over to discuss the idea. So I went, and to my big surprise, they said that they will help me to get all the details and all the facts straight, because actually there's not much information about personal life of Arvo Pärt, and when he speaks only about his music. So this was very valuable part of the process, both personally and also, of course, added value to the book, because I got a lot of new details that I needed to have this complete story, what was actually going on while he was developing his musical language. And yeah,
Gotcha, gotcha.
we would meet maybe in every couple of months, and I would have new material, and we would discuss those pieces separately, and they would either add something or say that, I don't know, this didn't actually happen to us. It was urban legends about us. So it was like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And in contrast, we have I was just mentioning colorful Magi, and as I said, in contrast with that, didn't have the luxury. Obviously, it's been 100 years since this hit subject has been with us. He has since passed about 100 years ago. As of August, it would be a little after August. It has been 100 years. So, in considering that, could you talk, a bit about that as well? Because you've gone on record as saying, you were quoted as saying that you were interested in that force that activates an artist. So I'm curious, could you briefly discuss that process of trying to utilize the work that said subject has made to be able to determine that?
Mm-hmm. Well, luckily, the artist Konrad Magi has been the most studied artist in Estonian art history. So I had at least all the materials and all the letters that I had ever found about him. Many books, I believe 15 books about his life, different people who had studied him and his paintings. So I had this material, but it wasn't enough actually. So that was a difficulty actually with a värviline Magi, colorful Magi. I didn't have anyone to call when I had gaps in the story. For example, there were many years in his life that nobody knows what actually happened to him. And some of those years might have been even transformative for him as an artist. It was a bit difficult in that way, and I had to invent or make sort of connections between story parts that I didn't have any information about. But yeah, it was again discovery process, because I found out actually some new things that any other person who had studied him hadn't found before. For example, some sketches and that he had done. These are also printed in the book, and I basically discovered what he meant by those sketches. So it was kind of inner insight into his creative process in that way.
Gotcha. And lastly, I'll ask you, based off that same comment, what would you say? drives you? Has it changed along your journey, or that intrinsic thing that drives you as an artist, has it remained the same?
Yeah, well, I guess what I somebody said that artist is uh, collecting information and passing it on. So this kind of process has been always interesting to me, finding new details, discovering things actually that nobody has ever thought of or seen, and making this information accessible through the format in informative and interesting ways. This is something that has kept kept me going. So I think this is one of the main things.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, squeezing in some time just before the show start. Really do appreciate it. And for those that are currently there at Small Press Expo, you can see Eunice at SPX table W86. So make sure you stop by and check them out. So with that being said, can you also tell folks where they can find you, even outside of obviously this weekend?
Yeah, they can connect with me either through Instagram. It's just my name as my handle, and I'm also on different social media platforms where they can connect with me, and please do, and to visit me in the SPX also. I'll be signing today a
All
couple
right.
of hours and tomorrow on Sunday a couple of hours. So see you.
Out, outstanding, outstanding. So there you guys have it. Again, your host, Brandon Troy, co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.